name's Claire Hunsaker. I work at Samasource, and I'm going to be talking a little bit less about app development and a little bit more about infrastructure. So this on the left, I guess, is a submarine fiber optic cable, and it is the plumbing of the 21st century, as I'm sure you guys know. It is all over the world, and it is all over the world in hugely, hugely disparate ways. So you'll notice that there's places like the Mediterranean and, weirdly, the Caribbean that have huge density, and places like East Africa that have virtually no landings. In fact, East Africa got their first landing 18 months ago. The way this is happening is very similar to the way all other infrastructure projects have gone. The cities get them first. The rural areas a little bit later, and the reason that I care about this is that I am actually from one of the least, in fact, the least densely populated county in the country, which is where that little black arrow is, southeast Oregon. And when you go to where I'm from, your cell phone signal goes, and that is because there is huge interest, huge economic interest in staying close to large cities and large populations. This is an interesting problem in the United States. It led me to go work for LiveOps, which is a company that uses the internet to take work to people all over the country using the internet. Typically, they're doing like taking calls for Pizza Hut. But the great thing about that is stuff like if you live in the middle of nowhere in a very unpopulated town, your options are very limited. Part-time work looks like working at the 7-Eleven. And so being able to create a virtual workforce and give them opportunity is huge. But in the United States, this is a hugely, hugely classy problem. So we have 24 cable landings on the west coast of the United States. At some point, my hometown will have amazing coverage, both through cable and through broadband, through any kind you want. However, there are places in the world where every kind of infrastructure is developing simultaneously. And we operate a lot in Kenya, where literally you drive through Nairobi and the streets change every day because they're building them so quickly. Water mains are being built for the first time. And so now I work at Samasource, and what we do is we distribute work via the internet to people in these developing countries. We operate in 6 countries and have 16 centers. And they log in using these connections, which are available for the first time. But the challenge is that not all plumbing is created equal. I'll be talking a little bit more on Tuesday about how mobile is changing this, but getting to the last mile using cable is very, very difficult. And because, as you can see, this is the kind of coverage. So basically, if you live in Kenya and you're in Mombasa or Nairobi, great. But many people don't, and many people who need access to that information are nowhere near there. And yet, the thing that is super inspiring to me, I spent February doing user research in Kenya, in a couple of our centers. People are fired up about what the internet can bring to them. Everybody's on Facebook. Number one, they want jobs. And the reason that jobs are so critically important is that the option isn't the 7-Eleven. This is the option. This is a guy I took a picture of in one of the slums in Nairobi who's grinding beef bones because that's a viable work opportunity. He does it in a tin shack 10 hours a day. And mobile technologies are changing everything fast. You would think that people who are farmers in rural Kenya might not be super psyched about using their handsets, but penetration has grown immensely. And even this is a tech incubator in downtown Nairobi, where they had the first Android Developer Challenge this year, and the amount of people who are coming to learn and to participate are huge. But the thing that's really exciting is that virtually everybody I met in Nairobi when I was there in February feels like technology can really fundamentally change the economic development of their country, and they're behind it. This is Diana, who is starting a huge center anyway. My goal is to take rural computer centers out into the last mile because I'm from the last mile. And my challenge for you is that in this room and at this conference, we have the greatest concentration of technical ability, mind share, capability. I would challenge you all to take one sprint, one Saturday, one hack day, and think about ways you can support developers in the developing world, because they are pushing hard. That's unusual. But anyway, if you're interested, I'm Claire at samasource.org, and have a great one.